Could hacking reality be as simple as making decisions? In other words, is it decisions that determines your path, that allows you to program the simulation, or your simulation, if you like? Now, one thing I do like about Will Smith, and I know, there was the Oscars incident, but that aside, that he's got an amazing outlook on life as far as being positive and being consistent, staying true to your beliefs, etc. You definitely can't deny him of that. I remember him saying in a video, it was a compilation of different things that he'd said around the subject of positive thinking. And that is that you just have to decide in order to make something happen. Now, he's a big fan of the book, The Alchemist, which I read on the strength of what he said, and also on reviews that a lot of other people said about the book. And I thought it was a good book. It's a very nice story. Lots of good nuggets in there. I wasn't blown away by it, if I'm honest, but I can see why Will Smith kind of latched onto that. And, he said, again, it's just the act of deciding what you want to do. I think it's fair to say that a lot of us do kind of drift through life. And I don't mean that in a negative way. But when I think about a lot of my quote unquote life choices, a lot of the times it's did I really choose them myself, or was it just things that arose and I thought, yeah, I'll go and do that. A classic example was a college course that I went on because my friend from school, my best friend from school, decided to take. And then the git, right? I think it was about 2 or 3 days before it started, he got a job locally and then just bailed out of the course. And because I'd already signed up for it and I didn't have any other plans, I ended up doing the course that I was only doing because my friend did, and then he didn't even go on the course anyway. It was only a year long, but that is a classic case of just doing something, just going with the flow. And another thing, that like jobs that I've done in the past, was because I've bumped into people and they've either said, "Oh, we're looking for someone at our place," or someone has mentioned something, or something's popped up, and I've just kind of gone along with it. So, that's a different topic, letting things happen to you, being at effect of things. But I think we really underestimate the power of decision, because there's one level where you're deciding who you want to be with, how you want to react to things, what jobs you want to do, what pursuits you want to do, what you want to do with your spare time. That's the kind of first level. That is something that you need to take control of and be a bit more deliberate with. But then there's the second level, which is deciding to do things that you've believed you couldn't do. Maybe you felt that you haven't got the skills to do it, or you don't have the natural talent, or you can't because financially you feel like you can't do it. Jobs is a classic case. We always tell ourselves, well, I can't change jobs because I would take a massive drop in salary. I haven't got the opportunities. It's too competitive. A friend of mine says, whenever you think about pretty much anything, and when you end up talking yourself out of doing something, what you should really do, the litmus test is that thought, right? You want to ask yourself, is that based on what you know or what you feel? And probably 95% of the time, you haven't really got anything to back up why you shouldn't do it. It's all based on excuses that you invent for yourself as to why you shouldn't do something. And when I say what you know to be true, you must have had to done it and tried it, and not just tried it a few times as well. Sometimes you've tried something, but you weren't doing it quite the right way. Maybe the timing was wrong. Maybe you didn't stick at it long enough. So what I'd like you to do as an exercise is, if there is something that you want to do, really look into it and just try it and really see, just decide. This is the point of this video, is just decide that you're going to do it. And more importantly, just decide that it is going to happen for you. There's just no way around it. There's a marketer, I think his name was Gary Halbert. I think it was Gary Halbert who come up with this. And that is, and I know it's a bit of an extreme situation, but if you had to come up with a certain amount of money by the end of the week, if someone pointed a gun to your head and said, if you don't come up with that amount by the end of the week, I'm going to pull the trigger. And it's amazing then how resourceful you would become if you absolutely had to. It was life and death. And I think sometimes we need to try and put ourselves under a bit of pressure, a bit of false pressure, if you like, but it's like putting time limits on yourself. If you put a time limit on yourself, I was terrible for that at school. Like, I would always leave things to the last minute. But if I knew I had a 6-week deadline, which was normally the end of the summer holiday, even if I tried to do it, I just couldn't, my brain just couldn't fire. So I would have to sort of come up with these kind of false deadlines. And same with work. I would say to my whatever manager that I had, you have to give me a deadline, otherwise I just can't get into gear, even with the best will in the world. So think about something that you really want to do and just decide, A, you're going to do it, and B, it's going to work out. There's just no other option. It is going to work for you. And just put that out into the universe, into your simulation, and do it with 100% effort and conviction. Let me know in the comments if you've ever put off decisions. What things have you wanted to do and that you didn't? And don't regret it. You can't regret things. There's no point looking back and regretting it, because what's done is done. There's nothing wrong with starting now. That's what I like about the Japanese. They'll start new pursuits in their 80s or their 90s. Whereas a lot of the time in the Western world, we just think, I'm too old for that. That's another classic excuse that we give ourselves. So, what things have you done? Or put in the comments what you plan to do. Put it down so you're committing it. You're putting it out there for other people to see. I'd love to hear it. So give me a like if you got anything from this video, or if you enjoyed watching this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And I look forward to seeing you in another video soon.